Hey everybody, so in this video we're going to review solving linear equations, and you can see that we're starting with a pretty basic equation here. So I just want to remind you with this equation that we're going to start by subtracting away the 5, right? We want to get x on its own, so we know that we need to divide by 4 and subtract 5. But we want to subtract the 5 first, right? When we're undoing things with order of operations, we have to start with subtraction and addition. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. Right, so 23 minus 5 is 18. And then we're going to divide both sides by 4. So over here, 4 divided by 4 is just going to be 1x. And then over here, we're going to have 18 divided by 4. Okay. Now, I wanted to point out that I am leaving my answer as a fraction, and in general, this is something that I want you guys to do. So it is my preference that you would leave your answers as fractions as opposed to turning them into decimals, okay? But what you should notice about this fraction is that this fraction isn't reduced, right? There's a common number that divides both 18 and 4, right? So we know that that number is 2. So if we divide both the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2, then our answer is in a good form, a fully reduced fraction form. Okay. All right. So let's look at something that's a little bit more difficult. Okay. Now, if we look at this, the first thing we can see is that this left side has the parentheses here. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to distribute this negative 4, right? We're going to multiply it out to both of these terms. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x, and negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Okay? And then on the right side, we're not going to do anything yet because that side is already simplified. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and gather our terms that have the variable in it on one side, and we're going to gather the numerical terms, or just the numbers, on the other side. Now, it doesn't matter which side you choose. Lots of students prefer to gather the variable part on the left. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to subtract 3x from both sides. Okay, so I'm going to write that out so we remember what we're doing. Okay, now negative 4x and negative 3x is going to give me negative 7x. Right, they're both negatives, so you get even more negatives. And then I still have this minus 12. Okay, now over here, 3x minus 3x is 0, so that term is gone, and then I'm just going to have my 2. Okay, so now I want to move my 12 over to the right to be with my other numerical term, so I'm going to add 12 to both sides. Okay, so 2 plus 12 is 14, and then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. Okay, so we know that 14 divided by 7 is 2, okay, and we're going to remember that a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Okay. All right. Now, one thing that I see a lot of students making mistakes with is if you have something very similar to this, something like 3 minus 2 times 4x minus 3 equals 10. Okay, now you can see that what we did up here is we distributed that negative 4, right? We knew that that was the right thing to do. That is still the right thing to do. We're still going to do exactly that. Now, the issue that I see is students are tempted to do this part first. Okay, so I will remind you that you're not allowed to do that first, right? You know the order of operations. You have to do multiplication before you do subtraction. And for that reason, we know that we have to do the distribution part first. Okay. okay? Remember, distribution is multiplication. So we're going to go ahead and distribute this negative 2, right? So negative 2 times 4x is negative 8x, okay? And then negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. We're going to be careful with our negative signs, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. So 3 plus 6, that's 9. Okay. And then I'm back to more like the first example where I know I just need to get x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 10 minus 9 is 1. And then divide both sides by negative 8. Oops, let me scroll up a little bit here so that you can see. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. So you can see that this is our final answer. And again, the reason that I wanted to go over this example is because it is really tempting to start by subtracting 3 minus 2, but because of order of operations, we know that we need to do multiplication first, right? So we distribute out the negative 2, and then we can combine our like terms with addition, right? 3 plus 6, that gives us 9, okay? So we'll do some different types of examples in class, and I will see you there.